So in this video, I'm going to show you the distance formula, just a couple of examples of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the distance between these two sets of points. Now, the distance formula for 2 points, if I have a point x1, y1, and x2, y2, this is the distance formula. And I know, like, when you look at it at first, it looks like kind of this like really crazy formula, but I actually want to just really briefly show you where this comes from. So let's say that I've got these 2 points A and B, and I want to find the distance between them. So the length of this line is D. Okay, so the way to do that would be to figure out the amount of horizontal distance traveled, which would look like this. So I'd want to figure out the length of the green line, and then also the length of the vertical distance traveled, which looks like this. So I basically want to find the length of these two other lines, and you can see now what type of shape this makes. This makes a right triangle, and so that's actually going to really inform like how we go about finding this length D. Okay, so to go back to the question of like how do I find the lengths of the green and the yellow line? Okay, well, this length here is going to be x2 minus x1. So whatever the x point is here and the x point is here, I just subtract the difference. And we're going to call this side A. And then this length here, so I take the y coordinate here minus the y coordinate here, so that's y2 minus y1. Let's call this side B. And then this side here, just to kind of show you where this is going, so we'll just call this side C for a moment. So why would I name these sides A, B, C? Well, if you remember the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, that's why I wanted to just rename them. So this is actually just an application of the Pythagorean theorem in disguise. And so now where I've got the A and the B and the C, I can just replace it with this context, which is the x2 minus x1 squared, y2 minus y1 squared, and then this d squared. And so then this is what actually brings us to the distance formula, because to finish solving for d, I would just take the square root of all of this. So if you look at the distance formula, it's x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, and then I take the square root. So this is literally just the Pythagorean theorem in disguise. So I always like to kind of mention that just so you kind of like get where this formula comes from. So now let's just apply it. So first of all, it doesn't matter which points you want to call your x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'll just call this x1, y1, x2, y2. I could have flipped it though if I wanted. So my distance formula is what you see here. And so now it's just a matter of plugging in the values. So let's see. I've got 2 minus 6 squared and 11 minus 2 squared. And I need to take the square root of all that. So let's see. 2 minus 6 is negative 4. 11 minus 2 is 9. So let's see. That's going to be 16 plus 81. And let's see, what is 16 plus 81? That will be 97. And that's really all the further I can go with this. So the distance between those 2 points is 97. And so that's fine. If that's all that you can do, then that's all that you can do. I can't even like simplify this particular square root any further, so we're all good. Okay, so here's one other example. So I'd strongly encourage you to try this one on your own if you're watching this video to learn how to do this. So I'll show you the formula one more time. Here's the formula. So, you know, math's not a spectator sport. If you're trying to learn something, the best way to do it is to do it. So maybe pause here and then hit play when you're ready. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start plugging in some values. So I've got negative 2 minus negative 1. Oops, sorry, I start with the y's. It doesn't really matter, I guess, but I'll start with negative 4 minus 3. And then negative 2 minus negative 1. So this is going to be negative 7 squared. And then this is negative 2 minus 1. So that really turns all into a plus. So this is going to be minus 1 squared. So then this is going to be 49 plus 1. So this is going to just end up being the square root of 50. Now the square root of 50, I can actually simplify, right? So I can break that into 25 times 2. And so this is going to be 5 times the square root of 2. And so that's going to be my distance in that case. Okay, and so that's it for this video. Hopefully that helps you with those types of problems, and I will catch you in the next one.